The Nonprofit Servant Leader Profile, Amnesty International, for Grand Canyon University, Leadership 630, by John Guglielmotti. Who is Amnesty International? An act of outrage for two Portuguese students jailed for toasting freedom in 1961 led Peter Benison, a British lawyer, to write a provocative article about the injustice. The report was so well received that it soon made its way across the world, demonstrating that people everywhere can bond in unity for justice and freedom. This moment is the beginning of a drive towards social change that is now almost 60 years in the making. More than 7 million people are involved in Amnesty International, campaigning against injustice so that the fundamental human rights are relished by everyone. Amnesty International is the world's largest human rights organization. NGOs, or non-governmental organizations such as Amnesty International, are organizations that we all depend upon and are far too under-resourced for the job at hand. Fundamentally, Amnesty International eliminates the imprisonment of victims due to their political or religious beliefs, along with racial or sexual discrimination. Prisoners exist in many countries for believing in a religion or political party, or not belonging to the correct one according to their captors. In an attempt to prevent and halt the grave violations of human rights such as the entitlement to physical and mental integrity, freedom of conscience and expression, and freedom from discrimination, Amnesty International has innately drawn from the principles of servant leadership. Many of Greenfield's principles for servant leadership are integrated into the organization, such as empathy, healing, awareness, persuasion, and commitment to the growth of people. Amnesty International has used the servant leadership model to expose atrocities around the world, including the crimes committed in the Second World War. After the war, Amnesty International developed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which has addressed fundamental rights. This document established that human rights are equally important and that governments must treat these rights in a fair and equal manner. Across the world, no matter the circumstances, every man, woman, and child have the same inalienable rights. The organization's work garnered them the Nobel Peace Prize in 1977. Amnesty International demonstrates many of the principles of servant leadership. Empathy is demonstrated by showing people that they are accepted and recognized for their exclusive and unique spirit. Also, all of those in the organization are well-intended. Healing comes through communication with those in prison. Strength comes as their communal search for wholeness manifests as an unspoken pact. The healing process is planted and fostered by the imprisoned due to the knowledge of others with similar social consciousness. Awareness in Amnesty International manifests itself in general terms of awareness regarding the world and its atrocities, and in self-awareness, which is said to strengthen the servant leader. Persuasion is used to provide the necessary tension in others that is needed to place these prisoners' stories in the light for everyone to see. According to Greenleaf, a servant leader effectively builds consensus within groups, and in this case, it could be to the court of public opinion brought on by the pressure for those opposed to such treatment. Commitment to the growth of people, Amnesty International believes that servant leaders carry an innate value beyond their intangible contributions as workers. They search to identify a path for constructing communities of consciousness by bringing these acts to the attention of the world. The three principles of servant leadership that I find most important and most likely to be used in my organization are acceptance and empathy, awareness, and persuasion. Acceptance and empathy are essential as the servant leader searches to understand and share the feelings of each team member as well as those they are fighting to find justice for. Comprehension of how individuals react to the news of unfair treatment of others is required because it garners support for the victim, fostering the possibility of retribution. Amnesty International's ability to build a mass of supporters is needed to ensure that voices are heard and that high-level action will rectify the injustices. Empathy in the organization will foster acceptance from employees because they will gain trust in their relationship with the servant leader, leading to a more cohesive and happy group. As Deutsch and Steil have discussed, the awareness of injustice is seen as a social norm that, if disobeyed, affects the victim and the community. Recognizing and acknowledging that discrimination and inequality are occurring provides support and confirmation that the behaviors happening will not alienate them from the community. As a group, we have a general obligation to protect the social consciousness because it verifies that righteousness will prevail. Awareness in the work setting is an essential element to growing the emotional intelligence required to recognize a changing landscape around an employee or group. It provides foresight that can be acted on before situations become dire. Persuasion is the ability to convince, and this tactic is most important when speaking about injustices and righting the wrongs for the victims. When used by Amnesty International, the understanding and mastering of methods involved in moral engagement towards crimes raise awareness in the general public. Raising awareness of the perceived injustices can be powerful catalysts for change in a community by affecting emotions and building support. Utilized in an organization, persuasion can motivate and move employees to action, and from solidarity between groups that can improve productivity and increase retention.